I've been seeing something going on in the Destiny community, man. They're calling it WeightGATE. Yeah, this shit goes deep, man. This stuff, it really, really goes deep. Essentially, there has been a lot of data gathering on weapon drops within Destiny. And the speculation is certain weapon rolls are weighted. And not only are they heavily weighted, it means getting certain particular rolls are almost impossible to get. Now, we all just kind of chalked it up to RNG. You either got it or you don't. And if the stars align, they do. Get some RNG crystals. Do whatever you can do. Scaro's video explains it best. Yeah, we could watch Scaro's video right this. Now, let me just say, I mean, I'm not trying to come off dramatic here, guys. But number one, I do believe that this is not intentional on Bungie's part. But number two, bugs do exist in Destiny. And this could very well be a bug. And it could be a reason why just terrible rolls have consistently dropped for you. If this is the case, and if weapon rolls are in fact not necessarily intentionally weighted, but bug weighted, then that just further fuels the fire for crafting and its value, because crafting allows you to navigate around this. It's got to be intentional, man. We'll see. We'll see. I don't believe it is, but let's watch Scaro's video.
Oh, just calm down. Calm down. I know you're looking at the title and you're looking at the thumbnail and you immediately go down to the comment section to start telling me how much I suck or how much of a Bungie simp I am or how much Bungie sucks or how much I am a Bungie hater or whatever. Just let's talk very quickly, okay? Probably not.
Man, y'all need to chill on Scaro's videos, man. What's all the hate coming from, huh?
Recently, there's been some controversies about perk weighting in Destiny, and a number of people from Bungie have come out and said, we actually just don't even have this capability. Among those being a dev who is unfortunately actually laid off recently. So they have absolutely no reason to lie about this, you know, saying they don't have the capability to do it. And then DMG is the other one who, as far as I'm concerned, has only ever had, you know, the best interest of the community in mind. Also, like, why would anyone need to lie about this? If there was perk weighting, they could just say, there's perk weighting, deal with it, losers. You know what I mean? Like, there's plenty of games do it. Games that require you to spend like real money do it. This isn't something games are afraid to do or companies are afraid to do. So they have no reason to.
Gotcha games love to do it. But let me just say too, I particularly remember having a conversation with Chris Proctor one time with Fallout, and Fallout brought up a weapon in a particular role that kept rolling. It was like made like in a joking kind of way about weighted rolls at that time. This was earlier this year. But the point is, it was never alluded to by anyone at Bungie that weighted rolls was a thing or even a possibility of being a thing within Destiny. Again, that's why I'm leaning more toward this may just be a bug situation. WeightGATE may just be a bug.
But what I will say is I'm going to be going through some data that has been collected by the Destiny community in various apps today that I believe is convincing enough to suggest that there might be something bugged in the system and Bungie maybe should go take a second look. In my opinion, I'm not 100% convinced of any of this. I'm not sitting here telling you this is exactly what is happening. I'm just saying it's interesting. There are some interesting trends and they seem consistent enough with new weapons where I think it warrants some deeper investigation by Bungie. And that's what I want to do. I do want to just remind everyone that we are raising money for victims of Hurricane Helene. We're doing so, you know, if you donate some money, you can get the exclusive Through the Storm emblem. And I just added 15 Magneto Sonic Waves emblems. These were the TwitchCon exclusive ones. So if you want to get your hands on those and help those who need it the most, you can do so in the comment section down below. Let's talk about this. So the reason this has been a huge thing is because everyone's been farming Chill Inhibitor because it is crazy. It's very good. Specifically, people really want the Envious Arsenal bait and switch roll, but like no one's getting it. And this was the big catalyst for this. And Bungie came out and was like, no, you guys are being ridiculous. There is no perk weighting. And like I said, I do believe that there is no intentional perk weighting. But a developer, you may have heard of them.
Hold on. Do I even have this role? Oh no, I don't even have it. Hold on. Oh no, I've got Cascade, Bait and Switch. I got Envious Arsenal, but one for all. No spike though. I got Explosive Light, Envious Arsenal, but still would prefer Bait and Switch. I was just curious. I didn't even know. We haven't even been farming it, but I was just curious.
Neo. on Twitter. I'll have them linked down below as well. Developed this website where you can sign up, and this will actively track your farming sessions, and it will record your drops of the area denial grenade launcher and your chill inhibitor. There's no manual input. It will do this automatically. You just have to say like, hey, I am farming this, and then it will automatically take that data. What is very interesting here is you can see pretty clearly, however many weapons this is, 500, 600, 700, somewhere in there, that there are trends starting to appear with the combinations. And specifically, there are combinations of weapons
that just don't exist,
are just not dropping. And one of the rare ones being this Envious Arsenal bait and switch. One person has gotten it out of what, 750, 800 drops? Should be a 1 in 36 drop. And this isn't even counting, So
let me get this right. This is a website you can sign into. It automatically uploads what's dropping for you, correct? Like there's no manual, there's no tinkering. Like you can't mess with the system, correct? Because it automatically pulls the data, right? Okay, I just wanted to make sure that there's no like manual input here that could be skewing the numbers. Oh, that's awful. That's awful. It also seems to be in the relatively same location that the rolls are missing.
The barrel perk, the magazine perk, the masterwork. This is just those two perks. Seems a little off. And so this has kind of gotten a couple people thinking. And Vendetta, I will also have them linked down below. Very, very cool friend of mine. Started to pioneer this theory that if you look at the popularity of weapon perks in the API, there are, on some weapons, interesting trends based off of, and this is going to sound ridiculous, how far the weapon perks are from each other. So I'm on chill inhibitor here, and if you look here, if you have two perks that are in the same row of different columns, they tend to be more popular to be found together than if you go further away. So let's say like I'm in the fourth here, attrition orbs, or I'm in the third attrition orbs. As I move further away, chain reaction, B-. We're looking specifically at popularity trait combo. That's just gonna be those two perks. Popularity on LightGG appears to be the amount of people that have this role on average in their inventory. This is not drops. This is just people that have it and these perks selected. And they kind of like, it shows like, 10% of rolls are cascade, point, bait, and switch. And, it has all of these, but it gives them a letter score based off of their overall statistics. This is not foolproof because you are more likely to delete a bad roll than a good roll.
Yeah, so okay, to that point, couldn't it just be that the better trait combinations just so happen to be traits that are right next to each other? And this is based on what people have kept, right? The popularity trait combos down there, the B- grading, correct? Just keep watching. Okay.
So inherently, this will be more inflated towards desirable or good rolls. That being said, if you look at the data, let's say we move away from chain reaction, look, drops to a D. D plot, around D, F. And then as you go up, kind of the same thing happens. And this is not a perfect trend, as you can see, but it's a general trend. And this got a lot of people thinking, and I went ahead and I wanted to go ahead and map this over the drop data that Niwo has been collecting. So this is the drop data. I assigned color coordinated lines. The green line means those perks are on the same row. So if you look here, Demolitionist and One for All, if I go back to the chill inhibitor on LightGG, you can see those are zero. They are 0 perks apart. Hi friends, I was editing this and I realized I forgot something very important. So if we look at these perks here, I forgot to mention that like Demolitionist is not 5 away from Chill Clip. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These things are like circles. So the top is actually the bottom and the bottom's the top, if you get what I'm saying. So Demolitionist is 0 away from One for All. And then Chill Clip is 1 away. Bait and Switch is 2. Surrounded is 3. They're like carousels.
I got you. Yeah.
Locks,
oh, they loop.
However you want to say. They're like gears. You know what I mean? Start and end are the same. So cool. That's important to know. But Demolitionist and Explosive Light would be 1 perk apart. And so that's going to be the yellow line. So 0 is green, perks apart in terms of, verticality in the columns or rows. 1 away is yellow, 2 away is orange, 3 away is red, and then it goes back down. 2 away is orange, 1 away is yellow.
So it's the middle zone because it's a loop. These are your dead zones, as you see here by the red line. Then it loops back, and if there was another graph, it would show it be going back into green, then yellow again, orange, so on and so forth. I don't know, dude. This just sounds... It's not that it sounds crazy. It just sounds like... Well, yeah, it sounds crazy. It sounds fucking crazy. It would mean that every drop for who knows how long has been a lie.
So if the theory is that the closer the perks are in the API, the more likely they are to drop together, that should be reflected in the drops. And as you can see, it kind of is. So if we look at just at this.
And again, everybody, it's not supposed to be that way. Drops are supposed to be completely random. You should have a fair shot of getting every single combo on a weapon. And that is what the RNG should be. Not grouping what traits are matched up with another trait in the same row.
You can see the ones in the middle tend to have a higher drop rate. They tend to be more popular versus these that are 3 perks away. The red line are the ones that have 1 or 0. And like I said, this sounds absolutely psychotic, but it gets crazier, okay? The same exact trend can be seen with Velocity Baton. And so you might just be asking yourself, first off, Scaro, have you taken your meds today? But the second thing you might be thinking is, wait, does this extend to other weapons as well? And so I have, what I have done is, first off, I wanted to see how reliable the light GG like popularity thing is. And so what I did is for every perk combination, if you select them, did I just close this? Give me a second. So as you select the perks, you see, if you look at the trait combo here, it'll change. And so what I did is I looked at every combination of every perk and I graphed that over the actual drop rates, over the actual lines. S and A tier being green, B and C tier popularity being yellow,
Yep.
D tier popularity being orange, F tier being red. Those are kind of arbitrary, but just to try to...
I mean, it's consistent grouping. It's what's being shown here. It's consistent grouping.
Align them with the color line.
Holy shit, guys. If this is actually real, oh my... First up, how has it taken us 10 years to figure this out? I mean, I'm not exactly like, looking... I guess it took us finally getting a weapon, the GL that everyone's farming for and cheesing the first encounter for people to start like queuing in on that. Was it just the first... our first time we've ever had a situation where 2 traits were far apart on the spectrum, and then that's what made everybody start pulling in data? I mean, dude, if this is the case, we've been getting fucked since D1. I'm about to be like going through all my previous roles.
So once again, the color lines represent how close the perks are. Green is 0, yellow is 1, orange is 2, red is 3. Perks apart. And so when you overlay them, yeah, I mean, there's a general trend. The perks that are further apart tend to be the red orange, and the perks that are closer together tend to be that green and yellow. Now, I want to believe there's just some sort of weird thing, like, I don't know. You know what I mean? I have no idea. I'm a chemist. I don't do statistics. I don't know what this is. We pay people for that. But this is a trend. And so it's like, okay, what else does this extend to? Oh, let's check the seasonal weapons. And sure enough,
God.
The perk.
Dude, how many more weapons? Look, I'm convinced at this point, guys. I'm convinced. I mean, we got 3 weapons with all the same trends right here. If you want, all of us can literally get into the website right now. This is massive amounts of smoking weed. Brother, I'm just saying. Look. Yes, you can be that 1 or 2 people in here that get something in this F row column. That super rare combo based on distance apart via rolls. I obviously all of us need to just sign into the website, start uploading our drop data, and then we could see. But I mean, by just having more and more people in there. But when we're looking at 3 weapons, same trends
that are further away from each other are less popular on like GG, which once again, the better rolls are going to be artificially inflated because you're more likely to keep those and less likely to delete them. But I mean, in terms of general trends, it doesn't, you know, it's pretty spot on. Liturgy, same thing. And I would, and please, if I'm making a very stupid mistake and I'm missing something so incredibly obvious,
dude, I'm gonna be hyper analyzing all my rolls. I know I'm pausing Scaro done right now. I'm just looking here. There's been certain rolls that have eluded me. I'm just gonna have to go back and look at some
down
point.
below in the comment section. I would love to learn. This is not my field of expertise. This is something I might have had a class on like 10 years ago. I would love to learn and improve myself. But for right now, these are pretty convincing trends as far as I'm concerned. Same thing with sovereignty. You know, I'm going over different, and sorry for the quality of these. I got kind of lazy with it, but pretty consistently, the perks that are further away are the lowest rated community score. And even though this is a small data set, the weapons that, as people are getting farm data, are being collected the least from the new dungeon.
So dude, so everyone here is saying it's only happening to weapons post final shape. I don't know why you're saying that. We'll see what Skittle says in just a moment. But I want to go back and look at shiny rolls and see what people, if we can somehow upload data from when we were all farming for shiny rolls.
So I was like, okay, these are the, you know, this season weapons, these dungeon weapons. How far back does this go? So I wanted to go back to previous dungeons. So I went back and I just picked a couple from other dungeons. So I picked, for instance, No Survivors. And I just realized I didn't pick one from Warlord's Rune, and I probably should have, and someone's going to call that out as like data selection. I didn't mean to do that. But if I look at No Survivors from Ghost of the Deep, kind of the same trends. I would say, like, if you look at a mismatch between the colors of the letters in the lines, it's less convincing the further back you go. And that could just be because people have had more time to farm their weapons, or maybe this is if this is truly a bug, this is something that only started appearing in the game more recently. But you can see, especially like here, there just seems to be like less popular perks. No one wants Pugilist. No one wants Elemental Capacitor. No one wants Collective Action. And like that makes sense. And then like, oh, obviously people want Target Lock. People want Incandescent. So I think like in the older weapons, the vertical and horizontal trends are a lot more convincing than the diagonal ones personally. And that like, you know, this is from Spire the Watcher, Liminal Vigil. There's essentially like no trend here. Yep. You have F community scores, which means that's like the fewest that people have in what should be the most.
So again, Scaro's saying that this seems to be where we have our set trends today, and those essentially what you would call dead rolls. That seems to exist more presently in our drops than what it did back then.
Most popular rolls and that drop, the most common rolls to drop. You have super common rolls, and this is gun like no one cares about. So I have a hard time, but like, has anyone ever used Liminal Vigil? I no. So like, why no one's farming for this gun? No one's trying to keep specific rolls. This should be like as close to just random as possible, and it kind of seems like it is. And then Unforgiven, which was like some people farmed for it, some people didn't. Duality is a pretty old dungeon at this point. Still, I mean, sort of convincing towards the middle, less so, I would say.
I would say this one is always the most convincing. You always have, you know, majority of these being your F rolls right in this diagonal set here. You see this under me and everything, guys?
Definitely not as convincing as this season's weapons, which people have not had time to farm for. And a lot of them aren't necessarily.
I'll take a look in a second, Tim.
So people probably aren't going to be farming for them. And I just want to note that like these sorts of trends, if you look at guns with like 2 perks, sort of falls apart. Because it only counts like what perks people have equipped, and you're more likely to have, you know, the roll you want and stuff. But for random roll weapons that drop with a single perk in the 3rd and 4th column, there appears to be a very and you know more recent weapons seems to be a very convincing trend. And so I just wanted to throw that out there. I could be just being very, very dumb, and I'm just missing something. I could just be missing something super obvious. And obviously these are letter grades. These are not, you know, these aren't numbers. I don't know how LightGG collects their data. I would love actual numbers to put into this. I don't have access to that other than the NIWO data, which supports kind of the same trend. So I don't know. At this point, there's either a problem with API data collection or the most ridiculous probability statistics thing is happening, or I'm missing a very obvious thing that I'm not seeing, or there's just a bug. And that's kind of all I've got. So let me know your thoughts down below.
I'm kind of with Scare on this. So look, if you ever played with a dev build, especially like a dev build for Destiny, and you have a weapon, say any of these weapons, liturgy or whatever else, when you play with the dev build, you'll pull the gun up, and then you can go into the traits of the gun. You press a button on the traits, and it essentially will start with what's considered trait number 1, and it'll count through all the traits. And so you could swap through all the traits, and that way you could play with different roles, right? But then so just to add to what he said about there being a loop, at the end of that, it loops right back to the first trait. And the same with the other column. You have, so there are columns and then rows of these roles that match up with each other, and then they all loop. And I don't know what the rolling process is supposed to be when you get a drop. I don't know. This is something that I think we would need to pull in maybe Destiny Item Manager, LightGG, maybe D2 Foundry, and then whatever other data sets to really get to the bottom of this. Because this is a major thing. Now, my question to you guys, first, do you think this even exists in the game? Do you think roles inside of Destiny are weighted? And then secondly, do you think they are intentionally weighted, or do you believe they are bugged and unintentionally weighted? I could see this being an unintentional thing. I think it's a possibility it could be weighted but unintentional, guys. And look, Scaro's point about an ex-employee of Bungie who literally could come out and say, yeah, everything's weighted. They themselves even said that no, these traits are not, at least intentionally, not weighted. Again, that's why I bring up the dev build, where you could cycle through the traits. Whatever that Rolodex is, they're on a preset Rolodex, and those traits loop. And maybe there is some weird thing there where it's whatever trait, whichever the first one rolls, the likelihood of the second perk is going to be something relatively close in proximity of that row. And that could just be that. But see, this is the problem. This is where I have an issue with the whole, is it intentional? Is it unintentional? If it was unintentional, then this system would have been in play since the very beginning, right? If this is okay, we're talking our RNG for our weapon drops. It's some archaic RNG system that's been in existence since the very beginning, since the days of grinding palindrome and whatever else. But as Scaro has gone back and looked at other roles from other dungeons, and again, I don't even know. I'm taking Scaro's word here, but I don't even know if the data there is completely accurate. And this is where LightGG and Destiny Item Manager and Foundry should really come out together and kind of just pool their data together. But if those previous roles, those old roles, are not showing correlation like these, and it seems to be much heavier right now, especially given this episode, well, now my radar is telling me that, okay, maybe this is intentional. Maybe these roles are being intentionally weighted. I don't know. I'm leaning more on the bug side, guys. I'm thinking that just based on the data we see here, it does appear to be weighted, but unintentionally weighted. And unfortunately, the role in this situation that people really, really want happens to be in that super dead zone. Guys, y'all drop some love on Scaro's video right here. Scaro, thank you so much for sharing this information, consolidating it for us. Thank you. Wow, so you can actually go to LightGG right now and take a look at a different, and again, you have these same different dead zones. The main thing is look at these roles. Look at this. This is where you would have all your S drops. Anonymous Autumn is just all over the place. Same thing here with Bittersweet. Drops off here at the end, here at the bottom here. Bygones all over the place. When we look at this, guys, in a perfect RNG world, this is what you want, correct? You still got dead zones. You still got, look at the correlation of dead zones here. Look at this. Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah, I don't know, dude. I got a high ground lone wolf roll. High probably, or high-ish probability. No. I got a high ground Zim moment roll. Oh, yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know, guys. Normally we would just laugh about this and say get good, but this is it's kind of funny. It's actually kind of funny. It's shitty, but funny. And I'm only laughing about it because I actually haven't started really grinding for dungeon drops yet. So what I'm really hoping for is everybody waste their time over the next 2-3 weeks grinding for these roles that are bugged, and then we just swoop on in after this gets fixed. If it can even get fixed. We don't even know. If there's more perks, less noticeable waiting. Yes and no. Bygones, it's a little spottier on, more spotty on Bygones, but there's still, you could still see the graying in these areas, right? And then the dead zones right here. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, boom, right here. Yeah, I mean, and then some of this I could just go, I'll go look on, for instance, Anonymous Autumn is really, like, I'm trying to get a god roll of this weapon because it can roll volt shots. So you got volt shot right here. We would probably want eddy currents. Okay, that's actually a pretty good one. I don't really care about like a crude redemption, any of the raid weapons, because that's craftable. We actually just did a review on this one right here. I do. Oh, wow. We got attrition orbs right here. And I wouldn't mind an attrition orb unrelenting roll, but an attrition orb repulsor brace roll is up there. And then of course you got repulsor brace destabilizing ground roll. Okay, yesterday's question, we just did a review on it. I want a head seeker roll with lone wolf. Ooh. I also want a moving target lone wolf roll. Okay, I mean, it's not the worst. It's definitely not, it's not over here, not in these dead zones. I don't know, guys. I don't know, man. This is one of those wait and see moments. This is where Bungie's gonna have to really dig into their code and tell us what possibly could have happened at the start of this episode. It is a big deal. Like, this is definitely a big deal. Well, guys, this situation has gotten even crazier. We were just about to put this video out, and then the Destiny 2 team put out a post over on Twitter regarding further reports of perk waiting. While we have confirmed that there is no intentional perk waiting on weapons within our content setup, we are now investigating a potential issue within our code for how RNG perks are generated. Many thanks to all players who have been contributing to data collection across the community. This data has been monumentally helpful with our investigation, and we are currently working on internal simulations to confirm your findings. We'll provide more information as soon as it's available. So there you go, guys. We're not crazy. For my folks that did all the data collecting literally all week, even though multiple people in my stream and elsewhere were saying that you just had bad RNG, you needed to get good, but turns out you guys were right. And hopefully Bungie can fix this bug soon. Fellas and ladies, thank you all for coming and watching, and as always,
slap that like button like your mama told you right.